Thank you for being here. I'm really excited about what I'll call Amy and Jamie Day. I'll say just logistically, we'll do them sort of bifurcated. We'll do Chief Smith's first and then Jamie second. It's just sort of a random order. And I like to talk about them both collectively, and then I'll talk about one individually when it comes. I do want to recognize, I see Councilmember Joy Hollingsworth here. Thank you, Councilmember Bob Kettis, Council President Sarah Nelson. I'm just ad-libbing here, Joy. Am I missing any council members here? I don't think we have two more. We got a quorum, so. And you guys you're standing too close to each other, so you got to. So many of you know right now, as we face the challenges in our city, this is the time you need bold and courageous leadership. You need just flat out intelligence. You need people that read books and talk to people. And these particular departments, both are in our finance group and with the care department. These are some of the most critical departments that we can really look at. In one, we realize we have some serious budget challenges, that Seattle, like many cities, are having some financial challenges coming out of COVID. So we have to get creative. We have to have leaders who inspire those under them, leaders that people believe in terms of their integrity and their commitment to good things. In the care department, as we look at how we respond in terms of modern policing, we look at a new approach. All cities are looking at how we deal with some of our biggest challenges, realizing that the old ways did not work very well. They incarcerated sometimes people in an inhumane way. Yet we realize we still have to make arrests. It's that calibration, and so we need fine leadership in that department as well. So these two particular department heads and leaders are of particular significance in terms of what we are trying to do, both from a city council standpoint, from the executive standpoint, in all facets of city government. Having said that, I think you understand what we're trying to do with our care department. The care department is our newest department and has quickly become an integral part of our public safety response network. Our care responders, are there any care responders here right now? Are there any actual, well, they're out there doing the work? Okay, all right. I don't want to talk about them in the third department, in the third person, but their responders provide trauma-informed care and mental health support to those in need, particularly when they need it as well in those moments of crisis. They play a critical role in reducing the burden on our police and fire services, and we know how overworked they are trying to do their job. So we're fortunate to have such a, quite candidly, such a highly capable and compassionate public servant like Amy Smith to become the first official chief of the care department. And I want to thank again the city council for a thorough investigation. They kicked the tires, and the tires are full of air. So thank you for your process in confirming her unanimously, as I believe. Actually, it was 7-2. No, I'm just joking. Now, for those that do not know Chief Amy Smith, before joining the city, she spent 20 years in leadership at human service organizations around the country. In these roles, she consistently championed positive change to ensure more people receive services and interventions. She also recently completed a doctorate in education at Vanderbilt University, where she honed her data science and behavioral research skills. That's why you see her do so well at press conferences, just being able to rattle off modern theory and best practices, because she has spent a lot of her time studying this. And ever since she joined the care department a year ago, she's been just foundational in shaping the direction of the department. She stabilized the 911 communications center after a tumultuous time of transition and successfully launched the care crisis responder team pilot. That is why we collectively decided, of course, to expand it, and because of her leadership, we're seeking to look at this team citywide 7 days a week to help more people in their moment of need. We asked around, we don't just kick the tires, we talked about the people who matter, those that work around her. These are the quotes these are the descriptions on how she was described. An innovator, but pragmatic problem solver, mission-driven, focused on using data and evidence to respond to our public safety challenges, trusted by the community. That's what she said about herself. No, I'm just kidding. That's that's what people said when we asked about her. Since becoming the acting chief, she's already become a visible and accessible leader in our city, and she is engaged with dozens of community, government, and business groups. She's a right leader for the care department. This is history in our city. creating this department, and I'm excited to watch the department grow under her leadership. We will look at data to make sure the outcomes we're trying to drive are the ones we want to drive. And I want to thank community members. I see many of you here that care about the community and care about the city of Seattle and what we're trying to do. So thank you for being here to support Chief Amy Smith. So let's move to the oath of office to be administered by our city clerk, Sharon Dedman, and the ceremonial pin will be affixed by Chief Smith's, it's just my notes. I'm going to say her oldest daughter, Lauren. I don't know, you're not going to want that title maybe in 20 years, but right now you're the oldest daughter, Lauren. So let's proceed.
Are you ready? All right. You want to raise your right hand, please? Thank you. All right, so repeat after me. I, Amy Smith, swear
I, Amy Smith, swear
that I possess all of the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
prescribed in the Seattle City Charter
prescribed in the Seattle City Charter
and the Seattle Municipal Code
and the Seattle Municipal Code
for the position of Chief of the Community Assisted Response and Engagement Department,
for the position of Chief of the Community Assisted Response and Engagement Department,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Washington,
the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Seattle,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Seattle,
and that I will faithfully conduct myself
and that I will faithfully conduct myself
as Chief of the Community Assisted Response and Engagement Department.
as Chief of the Community Assisted Response and Engagement Department.
Congratulations.
Thank you. There we go. See, now it's oh, It's on. You want me to sign just the top?
This one and give your copy to your daughter.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So, Mayor Harrell, I feel honored by your words. It was a little bit of a roast. I didn't expect that, but also by your trust. And I will continue to strive every day to serve this city that I know we both love as well as I can. I know we share a similar source of motivation, the mayor and me, which is that our kids and their kids inherit our work here. And I am really grateful today to be looking out at Lauren and Isaac and Anna and Luke, who have been my best teachers and supports and thought partners. And I know motherhood will continue to be a prevailing source of inspiration and gratitude in my life. Now, my original thought partners were my parents. My mom is here today, and if you speak with her, you're going to learn quickly where I got the multisyllabic vocabulary. I lost my dad 20 years ago, and I marvel at the way his fingerprints are still all over my life. He worked in heavy construction, and he came home often very exhausted, but still with enough energy to have long conversations about perplexing ideas with his overly inquisitive daughter. My parents taught me that each life does have intrinsic value, that it is better to give than to receive. And they also taught me that there is never a justification ever to denigrate another. They taught me the value of work, hard work, and that even when work isn't an economic necessity, it is a spiritual necessity. Now, today is a special occasion, but the real event for me this week is that I'm about to get married in a few days to the best partner I could ever imagine having. And last week I told him I was preparing my remarks for today and the wedding toast, and he said, "Amy, do not mix up those speeches." Yeah, see, I laughed too, but the comment actually prompted me to think about love and how similar my feelings are across these different commitments. I love to journal, and last November I wrote, "I wonder sometimes about the origin of the idea that love doesn't belong in professional life. Love is everywhere in professional life. Every day I watch people sacrifice to protect others, extend compassion to strangers, choose to remain in jobs that are endlessly more difficult and dramatically less lucrative out of sheer solidarity to their teams or out of a deep commitment to the greater good. Fear is a motivator, there is no question. Fear can get terrific results, especially in the short term. But love is the great enduring force, the only method to inspire displacement of self, And putting someone else at the center of your existence has such a refining effect. It sanitizes, it purifies, it eradicates, it inspires, it augments, and perhaps most significantly, it heals. I grew up fascinated with stories of perseverance and moral triumph. I love Nelson Mandela, Elie Wiesel, Viktor Frankl, Thomas More. And it was apparent to me early on that generally those who contribute the most have quite a backstory. I observed that every experience can be useful, that character tends to be forged in fire and cultivated when it is tested. In adulthood, I got to add academic frameworks and language to these early observations and theories. What my heroes have in common is post-traumatic growth and a growth mindset. I always thought a lot about what is fair, what is just, what is universally true. And I learned later I was thinking in terms of meta-ethics and generalizability. If something is true, it must be generally true. If I reject hate, I must reject it in all of its forms. And if I truly embrace diversity, I accept and acknowledge not only diversity of thought, or diversity of race and ethnicity, but also of perspectives, thought, cultures, faith systems, ways of being, different ways of seeing the world. So the care department is premised in the notion that every person, without exception, get the best first response, and that every person can change. It is time to imagine and to build new ways of interrupting cycles of suffering, and to recognize the crucial difference between interrupting to punish and interrupting to change and to heal and to redirect and to restore. This room is filled with people who are my new heroes, and I am so lucky to know many of your backstories, your stories of post-traumatic growth, and the ways that you use your personal example, your influence, your hard-fought lessons to benefit others. Andrew Solomon said, "I'm not inclined to dismantle my history. If you banish the dragons, you banish the heroes, and we become attached to the heroic strain of our personal history." Seattle is hurting, and the pain, the frustration, the loss are sometimes very visible and palpable, but we can come together to ensure that we are entering a season of great and unprecedented post-traumatic growth, and we will be individually and collectively healed as we put down the judgment and the blame and put into practice the lessons learned as we truly commit to the philosophy of One Seattle. So I stood here at this lectern almost a year ago, facing my first press conference, really unsure of what I should say. But there was a thought that I shared in closing that continues to echo in my mind that feels progressively valid. Perhaps it will be not the innovations, but the humility and the care, the deep awareness of our interconnectedness that will advance the change and promote the healing we need. And I think I got that right. The good news about that is the part that we entirely control. We choose what we say. We choose how to react to the pain and loss and disappointment of the past. And we choose the extent to which we forge meaning from the struggle, the extent to which we put into practice the lessons we have learned. I do believe in you, and I believe in us, and I do believe in Seattle. And I thank you for believing too.
Thank you, Chief. All right, let's keep this roast going here. I want to thank members of the police department and the fire department and other responders here on this. Don't go anywhere because you want to know how we're going to pay for all this. Look at our finance, and we're going to do our next one. I do want to also, I said earlier, I want to recognize some of the community volunteers. If you are part of a community-based organization helping us protect communities, and you're here, a community-based organization, would you be so kind as just to raise your hand so we could acknowledge you, please? That's right here. Thank you. Thank you for being here.